Hello. Welcome to Sarcastic
Hi.
Remarks. I wasn't talking to you, Chris. I was talking to the people on the internet and people listening later. Just shut up and just be quiet for just a second. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. All right. Anyways, welcome. Oh, everybody heard that. We're sorry. Welcome to Sarcastic Remarks. To my left is James. To my right is my ugly brother, Chris. And I am Ryan. And I can't think right now because I'm tired. This is our weekly Wednesday night episode. It is late. I am very tired. And we have a lot to talk about. How are y'all doing?
Great intro, Ryan. That was probably one of your best.
Yes.
I think it was
know.
the best too.
Yeah. And unfortunately, everybody heard my little shut up Chris thing beforehand. But whatever. Okay. What have you guys been up to? James, we haven't seen you for a while. What you been up to? Tell everybody.
Yeah, I went to Tampa to go hang out with my girlfriend, and then when I got back I had work. So I couldn't come back and do after game reviews, but I'm here now.
Yay.
Tell your boss you need off like every night so you can do a Stars podcast because it's way more important than getting money.
Yeah. Thanks for asking, Ryan. I've been doing school since as of 30 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'll stop dunking on you. Zach's already mentioning you, dunking on Chris a lot tonight. But you're gonna do it to me later in the Who Cares segment anyways, so it'll be okay.
I don't like school and I don't want to do it anymore. So
what test were you taking earlier?
Finance. And if anyone has ever taken finance, it sucks. It is terrible. Finance and accounting are two of the worst classes I've ever taken in my life.
Is it as bad as geology?
I assume geology is easier.
Geology is talking about rocks, like legit rocks.
I know what geology is, Ryan. I had a formula in finance.
I'm sorry, Chris. I'm done.
The formula had like 8 ones in it. It was so annoying.
So do you know how you did on the test?
No, they won't tell me.
Oh, that's annoying. I hate that. That anxiety. You have no idea.
No anxiety. I already know I did bad, so let's move on.
I'm sure you feel a lot better about that, right?
Oh, yeah. So our first segment tonight is what, Ryan?
He's like, just get on with this, Ryan. Shut up. Okay. We're going to get straight into some NHL news for you guys because there's a lot to talk about. I want to mention a certain team because I absolutely hate them, and they are sucking it up, and I'm loving it. We're going to mention Connor McDavid a little bit. Who the heck could have seen Carlson being the player he is right now? It's ridiculous. We're going to talk a little bit about Boston. There's some Ottawa Senators news that we need to mention as well. It sort of kind of connects to the Stars, but not really. And then we're going to mention some Stars news. And obvious for the Stars tonight, the biggest thing is about Jake Oettinger. I'm feeling okay about it right now because of the game yesterday. Wedgwood played okay. Stars played really well. But obviously, that's still a big topic of concern for Stars fans. We need to talk about that. Miro Heiskanen, we got to talk about him a little bit and how good he was. Gary Onoff, is his offense coming alive? Is Sagan coming alive? What about Jamie Benn? There's a couple of guys there. We're going to get into a little bit about Johnston, a little bit about the game tomorrow, and then we're going to get into our Who Cares segment for the evening, which, by the way, before we get to it, was not my idea. It was
They're
James's
never your idea. They're never your
Ryan's idea.
Yeah, I know. That's why they always suck. Okay, anyways.
Fair enough.
Let's get into first topic. Connor McDavid is an insane human being. If you look at his stats right now, he has played 10 games. And don't look at the stats if you haven't already seen them.
Yeah, I've already looked.
Okay, so Chris, have you looked at the stats? Okay,
no.
So let's play a game, James. As trivia. Okay, how many points does Connor McDavid have right now, Christian? He has played in 10 games so far.
Through 10 games, he has 17 points.
Nope.
Higher.
20 points.
Higher.
24 points.
A little lower.
23 points.
22 points.
22 points. I nailed it.
So I know it's still stupid, but the guy is averaging a goal and an assist a game.
Every game.
That is stupid. I mean, I get he's so used to being the assist guy and letting other people score, like Evander Kane, that I guess someone told him that, hey, you can actually shoot the puck and you could score this year, right? So he's literally got 22 points in 10 games. That is
That's a lot.
absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, that guy's good at hockey.
Yeah, he kind of is.
I just don't understand how he can be this good. I don't get it.
How's
it's just
Draisaitl
ridiculous.
doing?
I actually don't know.
He's
Let me
got
look up his
21
stats.
points.
Are you serious?
Oh, how
He's got
suckish.
21.
He sucks so bad.
But the crazy thing is that they're playing on different lines.
They're not
play on
different lines.
Yeah, but they both have over 20 points in 10 games, and they're playing on separate lines.
Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
insane.
I don't know how they consistently only have 2 players on their team and are the best team in the Pacific, but whatever.
Well, they've got freaking Evander Kane now, who can he literally just has to leave his stick on the ice, and somehow it gets to his stick, and it just like deflects off of it.
Yeah, it's annoying. I hate it when he does good.
Yeah, I do too. It annoys me as well. But speaking of other players who are doing really well, I would have never seen this, but Erik Karlsson is doing really well. Now, the San Jose Sharks absolutely suck, and they're one of the worst teams in the NHL right now. But it's not because of Erik Karlsson. He has 12 goals. He's played in 12 games so far. Chris, how many goals do you think he has?
I already looked it up. He has 9.
Oh, okay, so you cheated on this one. All right, but he does have 6 assists to go along with those 9 goals. So 15 points. He's literally second in the league in goal scoring, and he's a defenseman. It's stupid.
Yeah.
And
I think
the guy's 32.
A bigger deal with that is that the Sharks are terrible and no one else can score goals. So
Yeah.
I think we kind of have a Jamie Benn, Art Ross situation where like the Stars were terrible when Jamie Benn won the Art Ross, but Jamie Benn was good because he was the only good player. Might be one of those kind of situations.
And here's the even more interesting thing about this is guess how many goals he scored last season, all last season.
20.
He scored 10, and he's already
wow.
at 9.
What a loser.
Even if he's like really bad for the rest of the season, you could probably, punch him in for 20 goals, which is ridiculous. Next thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that a majority of the teams that are like in the bottom of the NHL are from the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And
all the Western.
Yeah, the Western Conference is significantly worse than the Eastern Conference this year. And to give you some craziness, the Ottawa Senators are at the bottom of their division right now. They are. And they have a NHL 500 record.
Yep.
That's stupid.
That's crazy.
That goes to show you how much better the Eastern Conference is right now compared to the West.
Which kind of is weird for schedule. Like, I don't know why they scheduled so many interconference games so early in the year. Like, especially when teams don't even know who they are yet. It's kind of weird in my opinion, but whatever.
I think it kind of makes sense because these are the games that don't really matter as much. So the games that you really want to matter,
they all
later
count
are the
for
ones
2
that
points.
Are divisional. Well, yeah, but like the divisional games are what more players get up for, right? Like we care more about if we play Nashville or St. Louis than we do the Rangers.
That's
right.
Fair. That's fair.
So I don't know. That's just the way I look at it. And when you look at the end of the season, it's almost exclusively like divisional games because they're just trying to build up the playoffs, build up the anticipation of the playoffs. So
yeah, that's true.
We'll see. On top of some of these bottom teams doing really bad, the Boston Bruins, we got to mention them again because they've continued to be good. They are off to a 9-1 start, which is the best start in franchise history. And they don't have some of their best players.
What's the best start in hockey history?
That's a very good question. I don't actually know the answer to that. James, you're our stat guy. Do you know the answer to that?
Don't ask me. Why would I know that?
James, figure it out.
James, figure it out now while people are watching us on the internet. Okay. I just thought that was noteworthy as well because, like we mentioned in weeks past, they didn't have Marchand for, I think it was like the first 7 games. They don't have Charlie McAvoy. They didn't have Matt Grzelcyk for a period of time either. apparently now Krejci is on IR as well. Okay, he's hurt now, and they're still continuing to do well. So I just think it's insane. And boy, were we wrong about the Boston Bruins, especially me. I'll call myself out. I thought they weren't going to make the playoffs, but with the start like this, it's hard to see them not making the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs. According to Google, the best start is 13-1 by the Ottawa Senators in 2007.
Really? That's even more interesting.
Very interesting. They probably weren't even that good that year.
Was that was that before Carlson? Surely that was before Carlson.
I don't remember.
Yeah, stop asking me questions I don't know the answer to.
Stop that, Ryan. That's making us look foolish.
It's true. Like, if anybody's gonna know the answer to that, it would probably be me. And if I don't know the answer, then y'all probably don't know the answer.
Yeah, I was 6. How was I supposed to know?
Dude, I was only oh geez, I guess I was older than I thought.
Yeah, I was about to say you were a human at that point. I still wasn't functioning.
I was oh geez, what was I? I think I was a freshman in high school at that point. So I guess that counts.
Yeah, you should know.
I should know that. I guess look at me and my hockey self, not knowing anything. Okay. Moving on. This is the biggest news that I wanted to mention. The Ottawa Senators are officially for sale. They are for sale, and the family of Eugene Melnyk has officially have come out and said they're wanting to sell the team.
Shocker.
And yeah, it not that big of a shocker, but yeah. The idea is to keep them in Ottawa, obviously, but here's the backstory for those of you that don't know the backstory to this. It looks like that the Senators are trying to find a place to build a new arena in downtown Ottawa. I told you I'm tired tonight. They're currently in a place that's literally like 30 minutes outside of Ottawa. They play in Canada. And if you want to put that in perspective, put it in a Dallas perspective, that's like the Stars playing in Plano rather than in downtown Dallas. That's a good way to put it. Or maybe even in McKinney, I guess, is even better.
Like the Cowboys and the Rangers.
Well, yeah, but Arlington makes more sense because it's literally smack dab between Dallas and Fort Worth. Yeah, Canada does not make any sense. It does not make any sense for Ottawa. But they're trying to work on that, and there's a place downtown where they can actually build an arena, but that seems to be like a really big issue for the Ottawa Senators. That's why they don't get a lot of fans out there, because it's a hike to get out to go watch an Ottawa Senators game. That seems to be on the table as to why they might not be as worth as much. Right now, I think they're valued at like $660 million. But if they take care of this project and they are able to get like a project going where they will build in downtown Ottawa, it could raise the evaluation of the Senators to like almost $850 million. So what do y'all think about that particular point of news?
It's not shocking that they're trading the team. The guy who bought it, he passed away and gave it to his family. What was that? Year ago? Year and a half, maybe? So that's not surprising at all. That's why they're selling it. The people who technically own it is his offspring, and they're like 21 and 26, right? So they're really young. They're not ready to own a hockey team, obviously. But yeah, it's a weird situation. I'm sure they're gonna. I don't know at all if they're gonna be able to get the new stadium started before they sell it. If they come out and say that they're going to sell it like this, I feel like they're not going to get the stadium started before they sell it. I feel like that's what it says, but I don't know. I don't know the financials of. Despite my finance class, I do not know the financials that go into buying a sports franchise.
I just don't think it's going to get done before that. Honestly, I think that has to be something that needs to be taken care of. It's almost like when you're selling a house and like say like the AC is out, right? No, most people are not going to buy a house with the AC out. It's something you have to fix before you can actually sell it, right? This seems to be a thing that they have to take care of before they can actually sell the team. Here's a rumor I've heard. I don't believe it's true. So the idea is to keep them in Ottawa, right? Well, if that project falls and it fails, there is a rumor that Mr. Tillman Fertitta, I think that's how you say his name. His first name is definitely Tillman. He is the owner of, get this, the Houston Rockets of the NBA. And the rumor is that he wants to bring an NHL franchise down to Houston. Now, I don't think that happens, but the fact that there's even a rumor out there, there's at least some smoke there. Thoughts? What do you think?
Pretty interesting. And I mean, if any Canadian franchise was to move, it'd be Ottawa. So
yeah, and Winnipeg's in a pretty good situation right now. Ottawa, they're
like the only Canadian team that doesn't sell out every night.
Right.
Yeah.
And their numbers are bad in
attendance.
Attendance. Thank you.
Right, but if it's probably because actually Ardell says it's more like an hour from Ottawa rather than half an hour, like I was saying. So, it says Razor. Okay, so Razor says it's like an hour out. Okay.
Either way, yeah. If the Maple Leafs played an hour from Toronto, their games would sell out.
I guess you could say that. Just because Toronto's a original 6 team, so they were one of the OGs, but still, I don't think they would be making as much money, in my own opinion.
Maybe.
But that's just me. I think it would be cool to have a second team in Texas, but again, I don't think the Stars would particularly like that. I think they like to keep the whole fact that Texas is theirs, even though they really don't do a whole lot of marketing outside of the North Texas area. So it would still be cool because then there'd be a Texas hockey rivalry in the NHL, and I think that would be fantastic.
They do in Austin. They just don't do a lot in Houston. And being in College Station, which is kind of a mash of DFW in Houston people, that's the kind of students that come to A&M. Houston people really have no idea about even hockey at all. So, and Houston is one of the biggest cities in America.
Yeah.
So I feel like a Houston team might grow the Dallas Stars fan base, honestly. With a rivalry like that and just getting more fans into hockey in Texas in general might be better.
And feed off of that Dallas-Houston rivalry, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And one of the other things that came out recently is that among the top 5, sports in North America, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and soccer, the fact that the NHL, it's actually the most valuable one growing right now. It's the most valuable sports commodity. As an investment. Yes, thank you. I should point that out. So, there may be more people looking to buy NHL teams, and if they want to move them, they're allowed to move it. So we'll see if that comes about, but I highly doubt it. So we'll see. Guys, it's official. Phil Kessel is the Iron Man of the NHL, and it looks like he's going to hit 1,000 games. So, congratulations to him. What do y'all think about that?
That's a lot of games to play consecutively.
Yeah. Also, he kind of cheated. He played one shift in one game.
Okay, his daughter, or his son, or whoever, it was his child, was being born. Okay,
he still cheated. I mean, I'm gonna call it like it is. He cheated.
You're gonna blame him for that?
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying
that's not cheating.
Play that game.
I'm not that. No, I'm not calling that. That's not cheating.
Did he play that game? Would you say, in your heart of hearts, that he played in that hockey game?
Yeah, he gave it his all for that one shift he played for.
No.
Well, anyway, it's still really impressive because I mean, all of our even our young players all have been hurt at some point, and they've only been here for like 2 or 3 years. They've all already missed games, and just to have a streak go on for that long to not be injured is kind of insane. I mean, I know he didn't play in that one game, but he still wasn't injured. The injury didn't keep him from playing in the game.
Okay. Also,
whatever.
Lots of teams have been trying. So they were trying to send him to the AHL a few times, and they're not able to do that because the players would revolt against them because his Ironman streak would be over. So not only did he cheat, he's also kind of hurting his team. Especially when he cheated, he just put his team down a man the entire game. And we're just like, that's good. Yay. We just
Nah,
don't care because it was the Coyotes. If the
I
Maple
highly
Leafs did
disagree
that,
with that.
we would have lost it.
No, he has. Now I'm not saying he's the same player he was when he was, with the Penguins or with the Maple Leafs, but he has still been a productive player. And right now, he's one of the reasons why the Vegas Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the NHL right now. They have a fantastic record, and he's a part of that. However
He is
you
on
want
the
to say
team.
that.
He is on the team.
Oh, Chris. Chris.
That's kind of what he's good for. He's there. We can count on that.
Although, here's the funny thing about him being the Iron Man, right? He hasn't been hurt. If he got hurt, it was a minor one, and it hasn't forced him out of the lineup. He hasn't missed a game since November of 2009 or something like that. Somewhere in 2009. I think March 2009, November 2009, something like that.
I was 7 then.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy to think? Yeah, that's crazy to think. So the thing about that is, and what's even more funny is that he's probably one of the most unconditioned guys in the NHL, if that makes any sense. Like the dude doesn't drink water. He eats hot dogs. He doesn't work out. His coach has complained
the water
about
from the hot dogs, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah.
He gets the water from the hot dogs.
I knew you were going to say that.
What are you saying about Phil Kessel, Ryan? What are you trying to say?
What I'm saying is that it's hilarious considering, you got players like Nathan McKinnon. Nathan McKinnon, who is like a health freak, and he still gets hurt.
All I heard is you were calling him fat, so.
I didn't say the word fat once. Not once. Anyways, congratulations to Phil Kessel. I really think he's going to be able to make it go until he retires, honestly, at this point. I don't know if he's going to... he could play for another 3 or 4 years. I really see it, honestly. So, we'll see.
The Stars, I hope.
Well, if he's super productive with the Stars, dude, I'll take him.
No,
Pavelski's 38, and he's scoring how he does. So, Ardell saying, on the bench, Phil Kessel drinks Coke.
I've seen that.
I have seen that as well. That's the way to live. Okay. Enough about Phil Kessel. Let's get into some Stars news. Oettinger gets an injury this past week. It was just kind of random. We didn't see it coming. He leaves in the middle of the second period. Who was it against? The Rangers?
Rangers.
It was against the Rangers. And they just called a lower body injury, right? After the game, they come out and they say it's going to be reevaluated in a week. So not that he's going to be out a week, but it's going to be reevaluated in a week. Should Stars fans be concerned, even though Wedgwood played as well as he did on Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay, Chris, tell us why.
Wedgwood played fine. I wouldn't say he played great, though. He saw lots of rebounds that Oettinger doesn't normally give up that Wedgwood did. We've seen him collapse twice in third periods, giving up 3 goals in each period, which is not great. And also, he doesn't get rest now. So Wedgwood has to play every single game because the guy we have behind him is a first-year AHL goaltender that we just had to sign to a professional contract as a backup. So he's not going to see the ice unless Wedgwood is hurt. So it'll be interesting.
Luckily for us, the schedule actually plays in our favor to Otter getting hurt right now because we have a decent gap where we're not playing any back-to-backs. We're not playing a ton of games.
And we're playing bad teams.
If you count the Edmonton Oilers as a bad team, yes.
Okay, other than Edmonton, the majority are bad.
It's not like we just mentioned Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl scoring 22 and 21 points respectively.
Y'all know what I'm saying. The majority of them are not the Edmonton Oilers.
For the most part, I am with you on that, Chris. I'm scared for when he lets in another weak goal off of a mistake because the second they did that in 2 games, in both games, there were 2 quick goals to follow it. So hopefully he can get out of his head with those and he can let those go because that's really seemed like it was, but it definitely is still concerning.
All right. So looking at the opponents we have coming up, obviously, tomorrow we have Arizona, and we'll talk about Arizona soon. We've got Edmonton, like we mentioned. Then we have the return of Rick Bowness, a.k.a. we go to Rick Bowness in Winnipeg. And then we have San Jose, Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, Florida, and New York Islanders coming up after that. So we really, really need Oettinger to be ready. I don't know, by next Saturday, maybe at the latest next.
I mean, he will
wins
get
2 weeks from now.
reevaluated on Saturday, so we'll see how good he's doing on Saturday.
I'm hoping it's okay because I mean I know that Philadelphia, we said at the beginning of the year, was going to be a bad team, but they haven't been. They've actually been a pretty decent team under Tortorella. So that's still a game that we have to get up for and be ready for.
Yeah, but also I think we could get away with it all the way until we go on that road trip. So I think we at least have another full week before we have to start worrying.
Yeah, agreed. But we're super worried. We're still worried.
Yes, we're worried, but
until we're very worried.
The fact that he stayed on the bench even though he was hurt still kind of tells me that it's something that he injured that he could injure further if he kept playing on it. So it doesn't, to me, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad injury, but that he could hurt it more if he kept playing on it.
My only worry is if it's going to be a lingering thing, right? Or if it's something that can be, just heal with time. Because if it's a lingering thing, that's not good. Because, I mean, we saw hints. He had that injury for basically that entire season, and he was in one game, out one game, in one game, out one game. And the games he was in, he was absolutely fantastic. But we can't do that with Oettinger. We need him to play, 50 games if we're realistic about, being like a true playoff contender, right?
Yeah, and then even on top of that, we're going to need him for the playoffs. So regardless if he's we need him in the lineup no matter what, because if we make it to playoffs, we're going to want to be playing him every single game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obvious that's true here. Now here's my question. A lot of people have actually said a lot of good things about Matt Murray, and I'm not talking about Toronto Matt Murray. I'm talking about Dallas Stars goalie Matt Murray. He's actually had some pretty decent numbers since signing with the Dallas Stars last season after he was done in college, playing college hockey. He came in and took the AHL by storm and basically solidified himself as the number one in Cedar Park with the Texas Stars. Could you see him playing maybe against Arizona or maybe next week against San Jose? I could see him. I really think we could see him getting a shot there.
If we thought that he was going to be a number 3 goalie, then we would have signed him before the season started. We had to rush and sign him to an entry-level deal just so that he could sit on the bench for us, is what I'm thinking. Yeah. So this is an emergency. Help us now. But
also on top of that, I don't think that we're going to be scared if we're already if Wedgwood just drops in a game and we're down 4-0.
Yeah, we'll
put him in. It won't be
that bad.
Yeah.
If we had Shield from the ECHL,
we might be. I'd be very concerned. Yes. No offense to Adam Shield, but he's just not. He's not an NHL caliber goalie. Yet. He's not. But at least with Matt Murray, I see some promise. I do, and I don't see him as a Jake Oettinger or a Carter Hart kind of young goaltender kind of guy, but he's a guy that could be a decent goalie in the NHL. So I don't let me say this. I don't think they're going to give him a chance. Do I hope they give him a chance? Yes. And if they're going to give him a chance, I think it would be better to play him in the game against San Jose when he's at home. It's against one of the worst teams in the NHL.
The worst team point percentage wise.
Carlson's going to get him.
The worst team points percentage wise.
And this is actually a really good point by Ardell here. Dallas plays an attacking game now. It will help Wedgewall. And I think it would help Matt Murray too. It'll help whatever goalie is in the net at that point. So you really think that Wedgewall is going to just play every single game until Oettinger is healthy?
Yes, unless it's long term for Otter. But if it's long term for Otter, I think Otter goes on IR, and then we bring up Hudobin, is what I think would happen. Because then once he's on IR, you free up that cap space for a little while, and then you can bring him up.
Yeah, and that's fair to say too.
And again, I think with the schedule that we have right now, we can get away with it. I think we can get away with Wedgwood playing every single game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not too taxing.
I mean, we do only play 4 games in the next week and a half. So that is true. It is very favorable. But
I mean, if there's even a slight question mark on Otter, he's not going to come back for at least another 2 weeks, I feel.
And I wouldn't want him to, honestly.
No.
With a guy that important, if it's an injury that he can get that can get worse, then yeah, leave him on for a while.
And the only reason why I say by like next wins or 2 weeks from now at the latest is because like you've got 8 games in 16 days from the 13th to the 26th. And it's not like most of these teams are pretty good. 2 against Colorado, 1 against Tampa, 1 against Florida, 1 against the Islanders, who have been pretty decent this year. So,
but didn't you hear, Ryan? The Avalanche are washed.
Yeah,
they're not washed. They're just
they're washed,
stupid.
Ryan.
They're washed.
They're washed.
Stupid. That's stupid.
Didn't you hear?
Yeah, I'll believe it when I actually see it with my own eyes, and then they're gonna go on like a 10-game winning streak and like destroy the world like they did last year. So, okay. So enough about Otter. Hopefully he comes back. He'll be healthy. Take as much time as he can. I think we'll be okay. Even if we're just 500 at this point, I'll be happy. I remember saying at the beginning of the season, like, if by Thanksgiving we're 500 or a little bit above, I feel okay about that. We need to talk about Miro because he is obviously a really important part of this team. And Chris and I very briefly mentioned it last night, but the Stars look completely different with him on the ice, even when he has the second least amount of ice time among all the defensemen from last night's game. So talk about how amazing Miro Heiskanen is and how much we missed him.
Well, when we have a Miro Heiskanen, we have a power play, and when we don't have a Miro Heiskanen, we don't have a power play. And that's a pretty big difference. Yeah.
I was literally writing the show notes the other night, and I was putting something about the power play and that we were 3 for 5, and I just went to go double check to make sure I was right because I thought it might have been 3 for 6. I was wrong. It was 3 for 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can tell that Miro Heiskanen makes a big difference. And again, with everything he does, he drew a call. He's able to get the puck out of the zone. He always seems to make the right defensive play. And is he Cale Makar, like, offensively? No. Could he be? Yes, but he focuses on both sides of the puck. He's an all-around defenseman.
It's a good thing he's not Cale Makar defensively.
Yeah. And honestly, there's both Cale Makar and Miro Heiskanen changed the way the game's played. I mean, Cale Makar, obviously, he's just crazy offensive and he just go all the time. But Heiskanen is able to just like control everything, it feels like. He just does everything himself. He changes how his whole team plays, obviously.
Agreed. He controls the game more. Makar controls the offense.
Yes. Makar can control the outcome of the game, but Heiskanen can control how his team themselves are playing.
Although I would say, like, at this point, I think Cale Makar is probably the best player on the Colorado Avalanche, right? Would you agree with me?
If they have a Nathan MacKinnon.
I still think he's better than Nathan MacKinnon.
That's ridiculous.
I think you're wrong.
No, he has to be the best player on the roster for the Avalanche.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
Okay. He was the reason why.
The only reason he was playoff MVP. Yeah, the only reason he won playoff MVP is because the other teams put so much focus on Nathan MacKinnon, which frees up Makar to do what he did, in my opinion.
No, you're wrong.
Okay,
Makar is just
good argument, Ryan. I appreciate that insight.
See, I told you would get back at me, right? We haven't even gotten to the Who Cares segment yet.
You deserved that, Ryan.
You deserved that one. That was stupid.
Yeah, it's not.
This is different. No. It's different, Ryan.
Okay, let's talk about maybe some players that could see their offense being unlocked. Now, it's really only a 1-game observation from what I saw, you guys, but there were 3 players in particular that I thought about that I was like, okay, we could definitely see these guys maybe starting to have their offense unlocked. 2 of them are pretty obvious, and 1 not so obvious. Ben, he looked like beast mode Ben. Did he get the goals that he probably should have gotten last night's game? No, but dude, the guy was everywhere. For crying out loud, he took a guy's tooth out. And he wasn't even
He
trying.
took his retainer out, bro.
Yeah, and then his retainer too. On top of that, you've got Dennis Gurianov. He did finally got his first point of the season, and it was on he was on a very good play. He was the reason why the goal was scored. He used his speed to create that chance. And then the other one is Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin looked like Tyler Seguin of years past. That the goal he scored, it was absolutely perfect. It was a toe drag, like up in the corner, beautiful, no chance for the goalie at all. So, do you see any of those three guys coming up? I guess maybe Sagan's pretty obvious. You can't really talk about Sagan, but Ben or Gurianov, could you see both of those guys' offense getting unlocked at this point in the season? Because I think it might be a turning point for one of these guys.
I think Ben is just going to give you a game like this, like 1 in 5, like I talked about on last games after game review. I don't know what it is, but he had another one of these, if you remember earlier in the season, where I think he got 3 assists and was throwing the body all over the ice. It's weird.
The Canadiens game.
Yeah, I don't think he has the ability to do it night in and night out the way he did when he was Art Ross. So I think we'll see flashes. I don't think we'll see it consistently.
Yeah. And,
what do you think, James?
And on the Gurianov side of things, I just it's so hard to tell with him because he has nights like he did the other night where he looks so.
Oh, I'll continue. He looks so good, but then he'll make stupid plays in the defensive zone, like just skating by the person with the puck and not checking him at all. Or he'll make a dump in pass when he has a 3-on-2. I mean, he literally does stuff like that consistently. So it's fresh. I have said this for probably 3 years now, but it's frustrating to see a guy with so much potential on the ice just kind of consistently squander it. And he's getting this opportunity going up to second line, down to the third line. That we're trying to find something that clicks for him is really what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out. And he's not figuring it out. And that's the problem, especially for a guy that's making $3 million.
Well, and here's the problem with him is you can't put him on the fourth line, right? Like we know for a fact that that's not going to do him any good whatsoever.
Yeah.
So really the lines you got to put him with are the second or third line because the first line is not an option. I mean, you're not going to take away Hintz or Robo or Pavelski or whoever.
By the way, which is the best line in the league right now, according to whatever statistics they use. Don't ask me who they are.
Just general points in general.
Yeah.
Right? So who do you think he's looked better with? Do you think he's looked better on that Ben line or do you think he's looked better on the Sagan line? Because I can't really say I have an answer for that, really.
He looked best in the preseason when he played with Hintz and Marchment, is really what it was. It felt like he was moving smoothly in that line. Like there wasn't this jerkiness that he has in the lines that he's playing with now. But like we said, our first line right now is the best line in hockey, so we're not going to break that up. So it's tough to think about what we're going to do. I think he's just going to keep doing that, and we're hope that he's going to catch fire because he is getting a lot more good chances more consistently in the past, I'd say 3 games. So we could see a Rope Hintz thing of last year where if he gets 1, he'll get 10. So that's what we're hoping for right now, I think. But the rest of the lineup, I think, is doing so well. If you think about from opening night, we haven't changed it very much at all. Yeah. And it's been really good for us. So I think you leave it the way it is now, and hopefully he figures it out on his own.
I mean, he kind of has to because there's really no other option. There really is not. I mean, the dude's 25. I mean, he's not a rookie in the league anymore. He's not even a young guy. He's kind of in that prime of his career. He's starting to get to that point, 26, 27, 28. So he's got to figure it out or he's never going to be able to do it.
Yeah. And like I said about his contract, when you're making $3 million, you got
to put the puck in the back of the net.
You got to score.
And again, we're not asking him to score 30 goals. At this point, I'm lowering my expectation. Like I'm hoping for at least 15 at this point.
Yeah. He needs to use his speed. He needs to draw calls, and he needs to score on the power play. Is I think the big things that he needs to do, and he's got to figure. Either way, he's got to find his job on this team because right now he doesn't have one, but he's got to figure it out.
He's not really getting any power play time either. I mean, he doesn't play penalty kills, so
yeah, he's got to find a job. He doesn't have a job right now. And
exactly. It would be different if like he was like a scoring threat on, shorthanded, and he was really good, solid defensively, and he was able to take advantage on the penalty kill. But he just hasn't been able to do that. So
he's playing like a goal scorer who can't score.
Right. And in his defense, Roope Hintz looked exactly like that. Last year in the first 10 games, he barely scored any goals, and by the end of the year, Roope Hintz had 30, so almost 40. So, here's a question that I kind of saw, and I saw this mentioned around mostly because I talked to Sean Shapiro about this and the interview I did with him on Sunday that got posted on Monday. There is a player in Detroit named Philip Zadina. And Zadina has a lot of the same qualities that Gurianov has. He's a pure sniper. He's supposed to be a goal scorer. He was highly thought of when he was drafted, but just something hasn't clicked with this player. And the idea was from me after I did the interview, I should have asked Sean about this, but what if we were able to do a 1-for-1 trade? And I hate to think about that because I love Gurianov just because, he is a Dallas Star through and through. But would that be a good situation for both players and for both teams, maybe?
What's the Detroit guy's cap hit?
That's a good question.
It's probably not $3 million.
Let me look that up because that would be very interesting, actually, to know.
If it's similar cap-wise, I would say, yeah, that's a great thing to do. I mean, we saw what happened with Nichushkin. He moved to a different place and he figured it out. And even he's talked about it in interviews, like he just needed a change of pace. It wasn't the Stars per se, it was him on the Stars. So definitely something like that might help, but I can't imagine that guy has the same cap hit.
I would think it would be something similar because he's a RFA. So let me look this up. He has got a cap hit. He's got a cap hit of $1.825 million for the next 3 years.
Yeah, so that's a lot less.
So I guess there would have to be money going out from the Detroit and coming back to Dallas in order to make that work. But so maybe it would be Philip Zadina and something else. So I don't know. But well, we're trying to get James back on here, but he lost internet at the house. So anyways, getting into the next thing I want to talk about, obviously Wyatt Johnston, he's staying in the NHL for good. He hit that 10-game tryout mark. He's officially used a year out of his entry-level deal. They could still technically send him back to the OHL, but at this point it would be kind of stupid because now they're already paying the money for it. Yeah. So what do you think, Chris? Is this an obvious move?
Yeah, Nil talked about it before his 10th game. He said that they're leaving open the possibility of him going back to play World Juniors because just that's great experience for young players. But they said he would have to have some serious regression for that to happen, which obviously is not likely. He's playing very well both sides of the puck. So I'm not super surprised. This is kind of exactly what I wanted in the preseason. I said one of the guys has to take the spot. It's probably going to be Johnston. I was right. So keep listening, folks.
I'm still rooting for Logan Stankoven too. I think he'll make the team next year.
Logan.
Seems like
I'll bring that up.
Conclusion.
Logan Stankoven has more points per game than Connor Bedard, the unanimous number 1 pick for next year. So already got a Connor Bedard in our system. So get wrecked.
I don't know about that, but Connor Bedard is supposed to be like the next Connor McDavid. So maybe even higher than Connor McDavid is what some people are talking about. That he's got this huge aura about him. So I don't know, but we'll see. All right. One more thing, and then we'll get to our Who Cares segment, which I don't know if James is going to end up coming back. It's that day.
I don't think so. He's gone.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about the fact that the Dallas Stars will be playing in a college arena tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it even worth it to complain about it at this point? Because it's
yes,
going to
it
happen.
is worth it because it's ridiculous. So I'll talk about it. First of all, if y'all haven't seen the dressing room situation, it's ridiculous. So the Stars dressing room is went to the other rink on the other side of the arena. They put down mats and they put up a bunch of black curtains. There's your dressing room. Now talk about your game plan so everyone can hear it.
Because it's going to echo around.
Yeah, literally, you can't talk about stuff like that because everyone's going to hear. That's embarrassing. And if you've seen the Coyotes locker room, it's worse. They're literally playing in a mini mites locker room. Like they got hangers, so they're just hanging there.
Oh, come on. I'd at least give it bantam level. At least bantam level.
I don't know, man. That's ridiculous. You look at their stadium. I mean, the Allen Americans have more fans. Like, seriously. They do. I think the Allen Americans stadium is bigger.
That would be interesting. Hold on. Because I actually want to know the answer to that.
And obviously, it's affecting teams. I mean, Florida played in the Mullet Arena. Ridiculous name. And they look shook by the whole scenario. So the Stars need to figure out a way to block out their dressing room and where they're playing. And like, I thought about this in the shower the other day. I was like, to kind of combat that, they need to put them up in a 5-star hotel, you know? So give them the gushy treatment away from the ice. They come here, I'll just last a little bit, and then we'll take them right back to the 5-star hotel and feed them some fillets. That's what I think is best. That's my game plan. Peter, you can have it, and you can claim that as your own intellectual property. You're welcome.
Well, we will see how the Stars do tomorrow when they take on the Arizona Coyotes at 9:00. So,
well, I didn't mention that it's an embarrassment to the Coyotes. It's an embarrassment to hockey in general. It's an embarrassment to hockey in the South, which is a big thing for us. So thank you so much, Gary Bettman. It's really worth it. We need a team in Arizona because, boy, that state's just buzzing. You know, when I think of party time, I think of Phoenix, man. I don't know. You know, there was a Super Bowl in Arizona the other year, and everyone was just so happy about that. You know, everyone was talking about how great it was that there was a Super Bowl in Arizona.
Yep. So
they weren't. Everybody was complaining because Arizona sucks.
Jeez, Chris.
It's a desert. They're living in a desert.
Texas has a desert. Where I live is a desert.
Nobody lives there. The only person that lives there is you.
Me and like 3,000 other people, and that's about it.
Exactly.
All right. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it'll still be interesting if I ever get the opportunity to go out there and watch a game out there. But it's still on my bucket list. But
good luck paying for tickets. It's going to be
tickets are pretty expensive. But and to answer your question, the Allen Event Center can hold 8,100 people.
Double.
Yeah.
So not just more, it's double.
It's double
for our ECHL team in Texas.
Yes. Well, not our ECHL team.
Not our Texas's ECHL team.
Yes.
Yeah. And generally, American games are pretty full. So their attendance numbers are probably going to be higher than the Coyotes this year.
That's pretty sad. But I'm sure that the prices of the tickets are way more expensive.
They are, but still.
Yeah. All right. So we'll see how they do.
Tomorrow is take care of business time. I mean, we saw what happened in Florida. You're in a weird place. Ignore it. Ignore how bad the team is. Take care of business. Score 4 goals in the first period. Let's get out of there. That's the game.
Arizona has actually done better than expected. They still have a sucky record, but they've still won more games than I expected them to. So, just saying, they've beaten the Maple Leafs and they've also beaten the Florida Panthers.
Oh, they beat the Maple Leafs! Wow,
they're still a good team, Chris.
No, they're bad.
Regardless of what other people say, they will be fine. Okay. Anyways, We need to get into Who Cares segment for the evening. It was James's idea, but he's no longer here with us.
Rip.
Don't worry, he's still alive, but he's just not here on the podcast right now because internet went out of the house. Chris, you want to tell us what it is for the evening?
The Who Cares segment for this evening, kind of going in tandem with the last Who Cares segment of numbers, we are going with letters. So a singular letter, and we're doing top 3. Ryan, give us your number 3 favorite letter.
The number 3 favorite letter is a W.
A W.
A
Would
W.
you care to expound?
No, your turn.
Okay, sounds good.
W for win. That's literally the only stupid reason why. But I mean, gotta love the W for the win, right?
Good job, Ryan. That's creative. All right, Chris's
My
number
other
3
my other two are better.
is going to be X. So X, first of all, if we're sticking with the hockey thing, stands for clinched. That's better than a W, in my opinion. We want to clinch the playoffs. Also, X is just an overall placeholder, a great placeholder in very many scenarios, in math, in physics, in freaking finance. It's annoying, but it's there too. X is all over the place. It's very useful, recognizable as a placeholder. Incredible letter, very versatile. All right, Ryan.
That was a really good explanation. I'm actually excited to hear what your number 2 and number 1 are.
Thank you.
I'm being totally honest.
Thank you.
Second one for me is the letter C. We are brought to you by the letter C. Last name for the word Chambers has to be,
I was going to say
letter.
C too.
Greatest letter
That's
in the
my
alphabet
number
other
2
than
as
one more.
well. So the C, not only does it make a great first letter of a first name, it makes a great first letter of a second name. That's fantastic. Also,
I'm sure Cooper would agree with you.
Also, one of the easier letters to write. I mean, it's just whoop. That's it. Whoop. Only easier one is probably L.
Or W is a zigzag.
You see how many different change of directions you have? See, there's no change of directions. It's a circle. You're continuing the circle the whole way. One movement. W, 1, 2, 3, 4. Stupid statement, Ryan. That was idiotic statement.
See,
Ryan,
I told you were going to get out.
What is your favorite letter?
My favorite letter, it has to be the S. And the reason why it's an S is because it's the first letter of the Stanley Cup. And also of the Dallas Stars. Hey, look, James is back.
Some sexy curves. James is here.
You got here just in time.
James, I got a question for you. Is S the sexiest letter in the alphabet? And why is the answer yes?
S has curves, first of all.
Curves.
And it also depends on how you draw it, I guess.
The way I draw it varies.
But also it's the first letter of sex, so
that's true.
Objectively sexy.
Objectively sexy, right?
All right, James. So we just finished our number 2, which were the same. We both chose C. So give us your third and second letters, please.
Well, I already did my number 1.
Favorites. Oh, we did do your number 1.
I did do my number 1. So, Chris, you do.
Ryan's doesn't matter anyway.
Nope,
so
mine's going last, as it always does.
James,
Ryan,
you weren't even here for 20 minutes. Shut
James,
up.
Give us your
I already know that yours are wrong.
All at once as a monologue.
Okay. I have to think about this now because I had them all set up right, and then everything blew up, and now my mind's frazzled, so I don't know which one I'm doing first. I'm gonna go for my number 3. I'm gonna go with the letter Z. Okay,
good one.
Z's a really cool letter. You hardly ever use it. I don't know really why we have it even, but I mean, it's there and it's cool.
Great pick.
I thought so. Okay.
It's like Phil Kessel. It's always in.
Yes, it's there, and I guess it's cool.
Bringing the episode full circle, baby.
Now I'm gonna bring in my second favorite, the letter A. Specifically the capital letter A, okay?
Capital A.
The capital letter.
Neither one of I didn't do that at all. I just said there's a letter.
Y'all are stupid if y'all didn't do that, okay? There's a big difference between capital letters and lowercase letters.
God, what about C? There's not a big difference.
There is a big difference. One's big and one's little.
Come
I
on,
agree.
Chris.
I agree. I changed my
Come
mind.
on.
I agree. Both of my letters are now capitals.
There you go. It's important.
Okay.
So
like it
my
big, I
second
like it
letter, my second favorite is the letter A because I mean you chop it right down so you fold it over each other. I mean it looks cool, right? And
Symmetry.
the letter A is the grade that you want to get on all your tests.
That's true
Okay.
as well. Very true.
Okay.
Good point.
All right,
Okay.
James, number 1.
My number 1 is the letter K.
Okay.
Want to know why? Because
No, I want to know
the
K.
most useless letter ever, okay? Why do we have it? I don't know. Just make it a C, you know? Why do we even have a K? Everyone forgets about K.
Wait.
You know?
I feel like you're making the argument against K.
No,
that's what
why
I
it's
was
the best.
thinking.
It's the best because it's the worst?
It's the best because everyone forgets about it. You never remember the letter K. Like
I feel like there's some deep psychological examining you could do with that. As the middle
Yeah, probably.
You
Probably.
know the only thing. Do you know
Um,
the only thing I can think of right now is I used to hate when I was in high school. A lot of people don't do it much nowadays, but back in high school, when people I would send like a novel to somebody telling me about all of my life's problems, and then they would just put K with a dot. That was
yeah,
it.
that's why you don't
It's
do
the
that.
best letter.
That's why it's the worst letter.
No, it's
Absolute
the best letter.
worst thing.
All right, saving best
Conversation
for last.
ender too. I mean, come on.
Chris's
Hey.
number 1 letter. This letter is unique. It's the most fun to say, objectively. That is guaranteed fact. And in Texas, it has a lot of uses. And we didn't say it had to be in English, so my favorite letter is Enye.
He got us. He
It
got
is
us.
Enye. That is the N with the little
Oh.
squiggle on top. The little squiggle thing is called a tilde. Another great word. Enye, tilde. Say those all day long. You'll be happy as a clam. So Chris won with this. With the
I'm
Enye,
mad.
absolutely. In all your best jalapeno. We use an Enye in an English words all the time. Jalapeno is the English word for that pepper. I am sure it's a Spanish word too. Whatever.
I was about to say.
We added the Enye to our alphabet. We didn't even. Just for that word, we did. I mean, honestly, the American alphabet should be N then Enye right after it. We've adopted it. The Enye is here to stay. The tilde is here to stay. It is a fantastic letter. Great.
Great job, Chris.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
Do y'all want to know why it disappeared?
Sure.
Someone may or may not have accidentally bumped the router and unplugged it.
Bumped?
Now you
Unplugged.
gotta tell us who. Who was it?
It was the patriarchy himself.
Oh,
But I can blame
Padre.
Chris for it because he's looking for a title for a car that happens to be Chris's.
so
So in full circle, it's
fault.
actually Christian's fault that I disappeared from the episode. He was trying to sabotage me in the Who Cares segment. That's all I'm saying. It's Chris's
I gotta like keep y'all apart like virtually to make sure y'all
This
don't like
title
throw,
is not in
throw
my
fists.
name.
But it's your fault that he has to find it.
Oh man. Okay. All right,
I
guys.
don't agree.
Well, I agree. It's 2 versus 1. You lose, Chris. So, haha, in your face. All right. Anyways, anything else we need to say, gentlemen? Chris, you're not allowed to say anything. James, is there anything else we need to say?
2 + 2 is 4.
Actually, it's
Minus
22.
one, that's 3 quick math. Boom.
Chris knows. Chris knows.
Oh, okay, guys. We're getting really too tired here. Okay, thank you for listening to this episode. We appreciate you guys. Go check out StarcasticRemarksShop.com. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Subscribe to our YouTube and Twitch channels.
Buy our bath mats, our shower curtains, our toothbrushes.
We're not
hairbrushes.
we're not there yet, Chris. We're working on it just for you, okay? Just for you. I'm working on it. And then, of course, like always, thank you to DraftKings for being our sponsor of this episode and also of this podcast and of THPN. And as always, Swanson approves this message. Along with Chris and James, my name is Ryan, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. We hope you guys have a good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're listening to this thing. Go Stars, and hopefully they beat the crap out of the Coyotes tomorrow night. See you later.